Welcome to Mark 3 MR2 land. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and last night, although it's not here now, there was another one. I think I got some footage of that. You know what, I'm going to whack it in this video, maybe now, just so you can see some stupid shit of a standard engine one of these that we fixed. Well, it had a knackered exhaust, so took the manifold off and swapped it for like a tubular one and a decat downpipe and stuff, and then refitted the standard back box so it's totally catless but still bloody quiet, and actually sounds way less tinny and shit than these do standard, and it seems a bit quicker too, but it's still a 1ZZ, so it's slow. But hey, I'll put that in the video now. Fucking hell, the amount of shitty fucking fell out then is unreal, mate. It might not start because of no lambdas, maybe. It might though. Oh, it was getting there. Holy shit, did a pop. Anyway, after watching that, wow, this one is the one you know. The one that was in last night's video, which was filmed, well, by the end of last night's video, it was less than 24 hours ago when you last saw this. This one is the one I bought a while ago and then exchanged it with Thomas for some 180 swap bits. This still standard. It's got an MOT, it's got 1ZZ, it's gonna get 180 though. This is Thomas's TDI one, which is currently engineless, but we'll be getting a 180. Funnily enough, 180, 180, 180, plus all my 180s in bits. And obviously my shitbox yellow one. This one, though, you've never seen before. And the reason you've never seen before is literally 30 minutes ago, I purchased it. I have literally just bought this one. And it's actually very clean and tidy. It's got a couple of tiny issues. Lacquer peel, well, water had got under the paint and the lacquer on the bonnet there and has left a rusty mark where the paint's coming off, but so what. It's actually really straight, like straighter and cleaner than expected. Even the interior is really tidy, full leather and all that malarkey. The other issue that is actually zero issue for me, but might be for other people, it ain't got no engine. No engine at all. But I don't care, because none of my shit has a 1ZZ because they are rubbish. It will be getting a 180. Maybe one of them, maybe one of them, who knows. But probably more interestingly about this one is it's got BC coilovers on it, which is nice, because the thing about Mark 3 MR2s is that A, there's not a lot of coilovers available for them, and B, they're not that cheap either. You know, it's not one of those cars where you can buy 150, 250 pound cheapy Chinese coilovers. On these, it's like you can get BCs and like Meister R's, which again, they're quite a lot of money. But I think BCs are about £1,000 for these. It's not cheap. And there aren't many brands that make them. There's all the Japanese brands, and again, they're crazy money. But as of yet, you know, the 250 or even 150 pound coilovers you can get for every common European car, for every MX-5, all that from China, they ain't existing for these. Otherwise, everybody would have them. But this has got BCs, so fucking winner. What am I doing with it? Good question. I got it because it was cheap and local, and as soon as I saw it, it's like, hang on, it's fucking very tidy. My initial plan was 180 it to a basic level. You know, 180, 6-speed box, charge cooler, 3-inch exhaust, stock engine, stock turbo, stock injectors, remap, 250, 260 horsepower, and, you know, somewhere high 200s torque, which in one of these, as you would probably know from seeing this with its old engine, is fucking fast. Like 997 GT3 RS fast. So, and that's proven, because I proved it in this, because I don't talk shit. I only say stuff that I can prove. So yeah, it would be rapid, and I was basically going to do that and sell it to make some money, because, wow, if there's one thing I can do is create absolutely mega cars out of these. It would be, I'd make it like a nice one, so it wouldn't be like what I did with this, was all stripped out and crazy, you know, full leather, just someone could happily daily drive it, but also be rapid. And also, probably most usefully, because me and Thomas already spoke about this, the engine spec would be like basic, but literally your perfect base for doing whatever the fuck you want after that. You've got the 6-speed box, you've got the decent drive shafts, you've got everything's in there ready to go. Then the world's your oyster, you know. You can go 500, you can go 1,000, you can go fucking whatever the hell you want. In reality, 99% of the world would shit their pants if they drove this at 260 brake and 290 pound-foot of torque, because these weigh nothing. They're sub 900 kilos even standard. So yeah, that is the initial plan, but I'm not sure anymore, because, you know, obviously the plan is with that is make it like a lightweight, not that powerful, like use all my old parts. So my old exhaust, my old everything, so it's bolts straight on the convert. You know, it cost me effectively nothing. If I had an MR2 to base it on, I've got all the parts to make, including uprated rods which I'll put in the engine, to make it a super mega responsive 300 to 350 brake and as much torque as it can handle car on, you know, the turbo I was on before. A rally car, basically. That's what I had in mind, with, you know, cage and as light as possible. And I was going to do it to this, but it's hard to deny this one's a piece of shit. It is by far the worst condition one I got. It's still perfectly serviceable and fine, but it's the tattiest one by far. Like, every panel is got either damage or bad paint. It's had, I think it might have been a write-off at some point in its life. It's definitely had accidents in its life. It had a front, because this is a pre-facelift car that came to me with badly painted facelift front and rear ends. So, and that only happens for one reason, because it wasn't a modified car. It's happened because it's had a crash. Didn't bother me because I'm, you know, not leaving it standard, so who gives a shit. But, and it was cheap. Well worth it still. But all of this looks like a hasty stroke shit body shop repair. Some of this don't look standard at all, looks like a repair. That's actually rusty. There's no bad rust underneath or on this anywhere, but it's all, like all of it is crusty, like crusty. Nothing, it's mostly superficial. You could spend a day with a wire wheel and get it all off, but look, this is both dented and rusty. It's the same every single part. This was absolutely the worst painted thing in the world. Actually no, second worst painted thing in the world. The actual engine cover is the worst painted part of it, but that's upstairs. So I mashed that up trying to work out if I could make a slimmer bumper, which I have, but I haven't put it together. This side is much the same. It's very crusty. It's got a dent there, some rust and some damage there. It's got a dent there. This has definitely been, again, repaired, not particularly well. It had some kind of fairly mild front and rear end collision, or a few, because it's got damage on pretty much all four corners. Not heavy, but all of them. You know, it's rusty there. This front end, the front ends of these notoriously get shit looking. Honestly, I'm looking at the camera, it looks way better on camera than it does in reality. This paint is not bright like it looks on your fucking viewing screen now. It's actually dull as shit and knackered. I mean, this was red, but that's even more. I would say this front end is been welded on by somebody, the body shop, because it's not original. I never even noticed that bit before, because that's red, definitely. And that's not primer red, that is like someone's paint. That bit was a red car. You know, it's grotty. It's perfectly usable, and I was going to use it because I don't care about the fact it looks like shit. It's going to be like a rally car, so it didn't bother me, but it's a pile of shit. Added to that, obviously, I started doing the V6 idea, which I stopped because basically 180s are fucking awesome. So because of that, there's some parts missing. Obviously the bulkhead, but that's not a big deal in my book. I can sort that. But I've thrown away all the engine mounts, which means two of them, well, I'd have to buy them all, and the front and rear ones on the subframe would actually need welding in. I cut short the coolant pipes, which not a big deal, but they would need re-welding on. I threw away the fuel tank, which is a pain in the ass. I have to buy a new one. It will go straight back in, but more purchases. I also threw away the fuel filler neck and all that shit combined, I think, anyway. I don't know where it is, so that's another bit, you know. And this cage, yeah, it's only placed in, it's not like permanent, so the fact that this has got a cage doesn't matter. I can pull this back out again. I've not welded it in. The cage is here, so I could have checked fitment, you know. That's what I was doing, because obviously I've got two of these, because one's going to go in the big turbo one at some point and one in the rally car one. But basically what I'm saying, and you might have guessed already, I'm thinking maybe this thing just becomes the fucking parts car, because obviously it's a piece of shit, but it is full of useful parts for all our cars. Because bearing in mind, like I said, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 MR2s here at the moment. Add to that our friend Andrew's one, which is the one I was working on yesterday. They all need parts, up points, cars do, especially the way I treat them. And we are probably gonna buy some to 180 swap and sell on, so they probably will need parts. So I'm honestly thinking, and you've probably guessed already, this one might actually just become the parts donor. So I strip it bare and either throw the bare chassis away, or maybe sell it, or maybe if we could pull it somewhere, store it. But it's a piece of shit chassis, so I don't think anybody would want to buy it. But obviously I can take the front and rear subframes off. I can literally, it'd take me a few hours to put this to a bare shell, because I know these like the back of my hand, and I'm halfway there already. And all the bits I can store upstairs, so it's not a problem. And yeah, and then turn this one into the rally car. It's already got the coilovers, so that's a start. It's already got no engine, so I don't have to take one out. It's tidy. I mean, like, inside's tidy. And I don't know if you can tell, and anyone who's had a UK MR2 will probably know, they don't seem to paint under the engine bay or the frunk, I think people call it, as in the bonnet. They don't seem to paint them that well, and they get rusty. These always are like just fucking scabby, but this was clean as fuck, like clean. So it saves me a job. Then they're never like, I've never personally seen one that is rusty, like any kind of holes, but it would still take time to rub it down and repaint it and whatever to make them clean quite often. But this one's already clean, you know. The roof on this one's watertight, but it's got the usual splits and tears, but that's like cosmetic. It's still watertight. But I won't be using the roof anyway. As soon as I can afford one, I'll be putting a hard top on it. Not like I'll be using any inside, but it's got a tidy interior, so they can all be used on stuff. But in all honesty, under here surprised me the most. This is where they tend to look the scabbiest. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect still. I've still got surface rust on the corners, but because, like I said, the way Toyota seem to almost just leave the fronts and rears of these cars just in primer, they're not very rust protected at all, and they get shit looking. But this one's alright. It's pretty fucking clean. You know, even stuff like the aluminium bits, you know, the ABS, or even the brake master cylinder, and all the aluminium bits on the power steering, they end up usually like white as fuck with aluminium corrosion. This one's not. It's not bad. It is not bad, and it's an early one, but it's decent, and it's straight. I mean, I don't really care about it being like super straight, because my stuff doesn't end like that. You know, it's gonna get used and abused, but you know, it's a decent quick base to start with, rather than this, which, yeah, of course it's gonna get used and abused, but it will look shit from the beginning, because it's bad. It's like, it's filthy. I never ever, I mean, it looks so much better on camera than it does in reality. On camera it looks bright yellow. To me it's sort of like an English mustard colour. It's like dog shit, like baby poo. It's not really as yellow as it looks on camera. But like, the reason I never ever washed this car, 'cause this was my daily for ages, I never washed it, was because the paint and the bodywork's so bad. It looked way more presentable dirty, because then it's just like, it's a dirty MR2. Whereas when you clean it, it looks like a clean but absolutely fucked MR2. It's proper bad. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't know, I made my mind up. I'm going to you know, I'm not even looking for opinions, because I know these things more, you know, I know this better than anybody, because A, they're my cars, and B, well, look, my whole car life at the moment is MR2s. I know these fuckers like the back of my hand now. But I'm going to go home and literally do some sums. Proper write things down, either on my laptop or even on actual pen and paper, and figure out what it's going to cost to complete this, you know, the missing bits plus the work, and what the result will be versus this one. And Thomas was like, he had a good point, and which is what I was thinking, was Thomas like, yeah, but why don't you just 180 this one and sell it, and then you've got the money, and then you can do whatever, finish this one or still bits it and do another one. That makes sense. But that means it'd be being 180'd here, like literally relative lack of room. It's possible, but it might mean us always pushing cars in and out and it's fucking ball ache. And that's still there being an eyesore. My thoughts is, and I reckon this is probably wiser, but again, I need to do the sums, is I bits that one up and get the shell gone, so that space is clear. That'll take me, you know, a few hours, if that. Very quick job. And then that space is clear, which means this can go there, which clears this space. This swap to make it the super light, caged up, mild-ish, you know, mid 350s, 180 response machine, rally car, crazy fucking stupid thing I want it to be. When it's there, when it's got its own dedicated space, so it's not taking up room or being a problem or having to be pushed in and out, that ain't gonna take long. The actual fitting the 180 to this will probably take me a day, if that, you know, including all the turbo, the exhaust, everything, you know, because that lot's already ready to go. It's over there. It's the old stuff off this. It won't take me no time. So this whole conversion will be finished and on the road, meaning that space is clear again, meaning then I can fucking buy one to 180 and sell for monies. Because although, yeah, maybe doing this one first for money, you could say that might be fastest way of getting money, but I'm not sure it even is, because it's still awkward being here and that being there and all that shit. Whereas I could get this one in, out, done so fast that I've now got a decent working environment, space to get on with doing the conversions. Because as you probably know, if you followed this channel for a while, although I've had millions of cars over the years and all that, my current goal is 2 cars that will tick all the boxes. So this is my ridiculous straight line, be it standing start and rolling start supercar destroyer, done. And the only other thing I want is the other thing I love doing, which is fucking hooligan, sideways, stupid rally car, drift car, flames, spastic mobile, which is what this can be. It'll still be fast, of course it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be fucking like 350 plus per ton. Even if it's only making about 320 horsepower, it's probably going to be like 400 per ton, the way the power to weight is likely to be. So it's going to be mental fast, but it's going to be a super responsive, super fucking, it's going to be like my little Group B rally car, whereas this is more my drag car, even though it does handle amazing. And that's it. That covers all the boxes. There is no other things I'm into. I'm into going fast in a straight line and racing people. I'm into rallying, I'm into drifting. This 2 cars will do all of that. Ticks all the boxes of stuff I want to do, because I'm not interested in like dedicated track cars, because, you know, it's all, these are always going to be road cars. They're all road usable, as you can tell, as from previous videos, because 99% of their use is on the road. Not driving normally on the road, of course, but, you know, a dedicated track car, that's for dreamers or rich people. I'm neither. I want to use my cars, but I can't afford to have dedicated track weapons and or even highly stressed stuff, because that's the thing with this. It'll be a stock engine pretty much, just with some rods and whatever. So it'll take the power all day long, and it's super, you know, 250 quid set of rods, which I already own, and the rest is stock. So it's cheap, even if it does break, and I can swap them over in fucking a day, if that. So yeah, once these 2 are done, I've got no more builds. It'd just be like these 2 will be constantly being used and updated, because when I get the money, this one will go on to Ignitron, so it's gonna have, you know, proper anti-lag and all the mad shit. At the moment, I just get it running off my old ECU already, because that's already mapped for 630cc injectors and all that shenanigans. And to be honest, even if there is build stuff, it'd be building these MR2s, because what I'll be doing, because chances are a lot of the people who's going to want to buy the fucking things is you lot. Because if you watch these videos, I'm sure a lot of you watch these videos and be thinking, bloody hell, I want one of these. They look crazy fun, because they are the best value performance car there is, in my opinion, once you put 180 in them, done properly. You can't just slap a 180 and expect it to instantly work, but me and Thomas know how to do it. So when I do build ones that I'm going to be fully transparent, say I'm building a badass car, but it's to be sold, I'll probably I will let you lot help me make choices on exactly what gets done. Obviously not totally. I'm going to be like, it'd be only on certain things, you know, how the exhaust is, what wheels, blah, 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 you know, the interior, shit like that. It'd be a case of I'll have 3 choices that I'm all perfectly happy with, but seeing as you lot are the ones who's quite likely to buy it, or if you're not, maybe it'll be a new subscriber who realizes what the crack is and wants one, so then they subscribe, they get a say in how the car's going to be that they're going to possibly buy after. I'm not going to bother with all this raffle business, like well, you can't really raffle it. The best way of doing these cars is giveaway cars, like they do on the American ones, where it's like, and Monkey London's done it as well a few times, where it's like you buy merch and you get entries for however many things of merch you buy. But my channel's not big. I ain't got no fucking merch. Nobody would be buying merch just for that. So no, this would literally be to publicly sell when they're ready. And, you know, initial thoughts is, I'm keeping this, I'm using this as a spares mobile, so this will be fixed fast, and then I buy another one. I mean, to be honest, I'm always looking out for them. There's one locally that I want, and I'm sure it's still available, but the bloke does not get back to anybody. I don't think he understands how to work his computer. But yeah, I'm always looking out for him, and I'll buy another one with the intention of being the one to sell on, if I can find one, the right one for the right money and so on, because you still need to make a profit, otherwise it's a bit pointless. I don't do it for fucking internet clout, whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, this is a slightly unusual video because there's not much action and a lot of just me being totally straight up honest with you and talking about basically what is going on or potentially going on. But that's it for this video. So like, comment, subscribe. You can put your opinion if you want, but anyone that knows me knows I don't listen to most people's opinions because I know they don't mean much. Sorry, but on this they really don't, because I know these things. These are all mine. It's not like a crazy opinion on something that someone will know more about than me. It's pretty impossible for other people to know more about 180 MR2s than me, because I'm the only one in the world with one that works properly. I think there's 2 others that exist that run, but neither of them run properly, and they've existed for a while. Like, they're nothing to do with Thomas's kits. They existed before even Thomas had the idea. We didn't know they existed until I think we initially posted up Thomas's one with a 1.9 TDI, and they're like, oh yeah, we fitted 180, or maybe it's when I first fitted a 180 to this. And these 2 people, a Spanish guy and a UK guy, both like, popped up with like, oh, we've done it too, but neither of theirs works properly. And to be honest, they was both right fucking bitches about it as well. Like proper, like, oh, like the Spanish guy I remember was, I don't remember about what, but he was a bit of a dick about stuff. And then he started messaging us asking for help like a few months later because his car don't work properly. I think it's got like oil temp issues or something. I can't remember. It's like, I'm not helping you now. And you know me, you know, anyone who follows my channel or follows me on anywhere, on social media or anywhere else, knows I'm constantly answering people's questions. But not if they're a prick to me, they're not. And the UK guy, he was just, again, he was he was being a bit of a dick, and then the actual bloke who built it for him piped up a few times, being a right fucking penis. The shit he was coming out of, proper dickhead stuff. It's like, oh man, right, just wanna, yeah, right fucking dick for no reason either. And that thing don't run properly either. And it was like, he was like, oh, it's really hard to fit, you have to modify the bulkhead and do this and that. It's like, no, we didn't have to do anything like that. That's clearly happened to yours because it wasn't fitted properly, and it's in a fucked up position and on the piss and funny angle and just done wrong. It's like, just because you've done it shit, you know. I remember him saying that, oh yeah, good luck making that fit, you have to do this, this and this. And then it's like, one day later, straight in, no fitment issues, easiest car to work on. But yeah, these people have burnt their bridges with me. I ain't fucking helping them. So and as far as I can tell, neither of those cars is on the road yet either. So they're lost. Anyway, enough fucking rambling. This has been like 30 minutes of me chatting shit. So I'm going now. See you later. Oh, also Patreon. It's in the description.